Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I hope you're all doing okay. Today's video is about animes, fall animes that I've watched so far and what I think about those. I will be cutting this video for you to be able to jump between one anime to another, so that like if you haven't seen or if you're not watching one of those animes that I'm going to talk about, you can just skip this part. The animes that I'm going to talk about are Haikyuu, Danmachi, Jujutsu Kaisen, Noblesse, Ikebukuro West Park, and Golden Kamui. Starting with Haikyuu. So I don't know if it's the last season or not, to be honest. I think it's the last season, but I'm not sure. I don't really have anything to say on that except that, yeah, it's good. I mean, it's Haikyuu. It's always the same thing. We are introduced to a little bit more characters. Like I want to say I'm a former volleyball player. Like a big part of my childhood was just me playing volleyball, and it's just really pleasing to see that this sport that is not really recognized, I believe, gets such a good anime. It's cool to see. The only thing that I could say, the only negative thing that I could say on this season is that I feel like the quality of the animation has gone down a little bit. Like it's a little bit uglier than it was before. I don't know if it's because of Corona and since they had less time to animate stuff, it was done a little bit more quickly than for the other seasons. I don't really know, but it feels a little bit more ugly than it used to be, in my opinion. It might just be me though, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really mind. I mean, I noticed, but I don't really mind because it's still pretty decent. Danmachi. So what is the season about? It's the third season, and what happens so far is that they found a little girl in a dungeon, and but that girl is not human. It's a monster, and a very powerful monster, and usually monsters don't talk in the dungeons, and this one talked and had feelings and stuff like that. So of course, Bell, being the shonen hero that he is, he couldn't leave a little girl crying in a dungeon. I have to remind you that this is the title of the anime. He took her back with him in the human world, like out of the dungeon, and apparently it's something that it's not allowed, and like they're trying to figure out like what is the reason behind her being able to speak, like having conscience, and there's a lot of under reflections about how humans are just vile creatures that just attack everything that they don't understand. And yeah, it's basically this. It's good, still good to watch. It's Danmachi. There's a lot of fan service in it. I don't particularly mind. It's a good show. Yeah, you should watch it. Of course, it's the third season, so if you want to watch it, you should probably watch the two other first ones if you haven't watched them yet. Logic. Jujutsu Kaisen, so far there's 3 episodes out, and the 3rd episode concludes the introduction of the main trio of the anime, with Megumi, Yuji, and Nobara, with the teacher, of course. It's a bit like, I'm not gonna say like Naruto, like the 7th team, and the teacher, Kakashi. It's kind of like, it's that kind of dynamic, except that Nobara is not totally useless. No shade to Sakura, but it's the truth. Yeah, so the first episode I talked about that in another video. Second one was about Yuji getting in his new high school, which is like a exorcist high school or something. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say except that the animation is still good. I actually kind of like the music, that like the music theme of Jujutsu Kaisen. Love it. Watch it. Just watch it, okay? It's good. It's gonna be better in the future. I know it because I read the scans. Just watch it, okay? So, Noblesse. Same. I've talked about that one in another video, and I said how much I felt kind of. I'm not gonna say disappointed because I don't want to say it actually, but it was a feeling kind of disappointed because I was waiting for something really spectacular, like Tower of God of the God of High School, and I didn't have it. It was a bit disappointed. Then I understood that it was because it was in the beginning of the story, which is the reason why I was so lost. But I have to say, the story is not taking off. It's still not taking off. It's still this kind of boring school life. I'm sorry to call it that way, but it's really that, with more cheesy characters, like those two new characters, like that really tall girl with white hair, and the little one with white hair, who are also noblesses, who are like investigating about these associations that I talked about, union, but actually the whole thing about the association and stuff, we still don't know much about it. I know it's only the second episode, but still, I feel like I've just watched. I feel like the first episode of the season was like a transition episode, and I already explained in my last video why it was not really interesting. And now it's like an introduction episode, but an introduction episode for those two new characters, and I feel like if they wanted to do that, they could have like merged those two episodes in just one, but they did. I don't know. I just want the story to start already, because I'm not gonna say that I'm bored, but I'm not that entertained either, and I can only guess that at some point there's gonna be some action and stuff, but I wanted to come a little bit quicker, because at this point of the story, the plot is not moving on, and I'm bored because there's no actions. So, and this little fight that we saw between the humans is not what I want to see. Okay, that's not what I call action in an anime that is supposed to be about vampires. Okay, I think it's time to start moving a little bit more, because I'm bored. Do something. Either you move with the story, either you start having some actions, because you're gonna lose a lot of people here, because it's already the second episode. If people didn't take it on themselves to watch the AOV or AV, I still don't know how to say that, and they still don't understand the story, there's no way they are going to keep watching this. So I think it's time for the story to start to move a little bit more. I hope that is gonna happen soon, and that we're not gonna have another episode of nothingness, basically. Ikebukuro West Park is the next anime that I want to talk about. A really good surprise. I mean, it wasn't really a surprise because I kind of knew that it was going to be good only based on the animation, because yes, I have that talent. I can tell you if something is going to be good or not just with how the thing is animated. It's a big hint, believe me. If it's trash, the thing is probably gonna be trash too. There's some exceptions, but not always. Whatever. So the animation is pretty good, as I said, and it's kind of a different way of animating. You know, it's not really pastel, but it's also kind of blurry, but not the same feeling of blur as in Noblesse, but it's more like vibrant. The colors are really popping, and yeah, I kind of like it. I really like it, and the most interesting thing in that is the story. I feel like each episode is going to have their own subplots, but at the end, in all the subplots we're gonna have elements of the big general plot. I don't know if I'm making sense here. But yeah, and so far there's only 2 episodes out. The first one was about drugs, like drug abuse, which is a really good subject to like talk about. What it does to people, what it does to families, and stuff like that. And the second one was about kind of the work environment in Japan, which is known to be very strict and very abusive sometimes, and it talked about that, and also suicide, by the way, like suicide related to work. And yeah, and I enjoyed watching all those two episodes. And the only thing that I could say is that I feel like the opening spoils a lot, so I'm not gonna watch it. Usually I skip openings, but this time I feel like it's gonna spoil a lot, so I rather not watch it at all. Last anime, Golden Kamui. Same as Danmachi, is the 3rd season. If you don't know, that Golden Kamui is just, it's kind of like a historical anime about a immortal soldier and a little girl who belongs to a tribe that I forgot the name of. Yeah, whatever. And last season ended with the soldier getting shot in the head in front of the little girl. So basically, the Ashiripa, it's her name. I feel like for Ashiripa, there's chances that Fujimoto is dead. I mean, he got shot in the head. Why wouldn't you be dead? But don't forget, we are in an anime. Of course he's not dead. And he's going after her because since she thought that he was dead, she continued her journey to get to the gold that her father hid. It's complicated, okay? Just watch it. It's still really interesting. What I really like about Golden Kamui is that it's historical. There's a lot of knowledge in the story. The plot is also well done, and it's very funny. Even though like the stories wouldn't be that funny, but they managed to include comic elements in their story and not make it weird. The last one that I want to talk about like briefly is Dragon Quest. I started watching it. I watched the first episode, but like, yeah, I didn't. That's not something I will continue to watch. It's I feel like it would be perfect for kids. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people actually are actually waiting for that, but I just I feel like it's really childish. Not in a bad way. But I feel I am not the demographic targeted by this anime, which is a game to begin with. I know it, but like, nah. I no. And there's a lot of useless 3D in it, like too much 3D. Yeah, that's it. For the monsters, it's just horrendous. It's not good. The animation is they didn't put a lot of budget in that. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes people can think that 3D is here when there's budget, but it's actually the contrary. If you see 3D, it means that there's not a lot of budget in the production. Because with like 2D drawings, you actually have to draw all the movements like frame by frame and stuff like that. But with like 3D, you can just like draw it once and then you just have to move it around. And yeah, that's why it's cheaper to do 3D than 2D. So yeah, there's not a lot of budget in Dragon Quest. I can see it. That's what I wanted to say for that video. Honestly, I'm going to tease the next video. It's probably going to be about Dragon Ball or Super Dragon Ball Heroes, because nobody talks about that, and it bothers me a lot. I'd be glad to hear what you have to say in the comments about what I think about those animes. If you have some suggestions of things that I could watch, I'm open. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Bye!